It's been 3 weeks since the US presidential election and the fallout is still going. Now, generally, I try and steer clear of politics on this channel, although I will say I am one of the 2.7, 2.8 million people who've signed a petition on X calling for another general election. And I've done that because I believe our current tyrannical, despotic Labour government have broken every promise they made in the run-up to the election. Also, I can't take another 4.5 years of Keir Starmer. I digress. Today, then, we'll be checking back in with the progressive and tolerant political left.
I don't need to show TikTok anything, and no.
So, if you have a different political opinion to that wide-eyed staring, rather unattractive woman, then she doesn't want to be friends. I imagine that comes as a comfort to many of her actual friends, because she strikes me like one of those people on Facebook who you desperately want to block, but you've got loads of mutual acquaintances. They'll be saying they voted for Trump even when they didn't. And note the septum piercing, we'll be seeing a lot of those. And there's nothing wrong with having a septum piercing. I know some very attractive people who have that done. Yet, a septum piercing and the mad wide-eyed stare, that's the calling card of the ultra-woke. So now I'll move to one side so we can watch this lady shave her head for the 4B movement. And oddly, for one of the 4B crowd, she's quite attractive, but no sex for her for the next 4 years. Although most of the 4B lot, they're absolute munters. And they're saying, oh yes, we won't have sex with men for the next 4 years. I doubt you've had a cock up you in the last decade. At least not by a man who was sane and sober. And it seems like they're rationalising, they're convincing themselves, yes, I'm not having sex with men, I'm taking a stand. Love, you don't need to be taking a stand. You need to be taking a walk and going on a fucking diet. Moving on.
I just told a Trumper wearing a Trump shirt in Palm Springs, California at the Trader Joe's, fuck you. And I'm insane, apparently. And I was like, yeah, no, you're right. I am fucking crazy. I have lost my mind. What do you want to do about it? You want to find out just how much? So he got out his camera and stood behind my car, and I backed out, and I just thought, if he's going to be stupid enough to stand there, I will hit him, because that's how much I don't give fucks right now. He got out of the way, and then came up to my window, and I should have just driven off. I didn't. I don't know what I said. I think I blacked out a little bit. But yeah, but whatever I said, what was going on in my mind, much different. I think I was actually working through ripping his face completely off of his stupid fucking head. No big deal.
She seems exceptionally proud of herself for posting a video which essentially says, look at me, I'm mad. Because what has she done? She's openly insulted a complete stranger because he was wearing a shirt. Then contemplates whether or not to commit vehicular murder, acting like a full-on bark-at-the-moon lunatic, whilst smiling like a gurning half-wit. I've said before, I'm not a fan of Donald Trump. But the more I see of the supporters of cackling Kamala, I'm happy that she didn't get in. Next up, we'll see another woman demonstrating what she intends to do to Trump-supporting relatives come Thanksgiving. I'm assuming that was an attempt at comedy, but it's so hard to tell with the far left. Whether it's comedy or just pure insanity, the two tend to get mixed up. And I'm shocked at how much violence is coming from these people. The supposedly peaceful, progressive left who now want to kill anyone who disagrees with them. So we've had that woman there saying she should hit relatives with cans in socks. Previously it was, should I kill someone with my car? Now we're seeing a lot of women in this video, and it is mainly women on social media doing and complaining. And I'm guessing the shocking thing is that in Western society, we're still not used to women being aggressive or violent. So now we've seen these women, let's see a man, albeit a rather confused man.
Representative Nancy Mace, who has led the Republican Party to kick out the first transgender Congresswoman Sarah McBride from women's bathrooms and changing rooms in the Capitol, and who has led Speaker Johnson to declare her a man, just let her mask slip a little bit too low. It was never about sports. It was never about bathrooms. It was never about women's safety. I want you to listen to this clip where she lays down exactly why Republicans and the far right hate transgender people so much and why she hates the first transgender congresswoman so much. Watch this clip.
It is offensive that a man in a skirt thinks that he's my equal, like that his challenges are the same as mine. They're not. And he's forcing his into women's restrooms, into dressing rooms, into locker rooms. It's sick. It's twisted. And here you showed that clip, the left celebrating mental illness. That's what they're doing. And it's crazy. And
that's right. She hates Sarah McBride so much because a transgender person dare be her equal. You know, Sarah McBride represents just as many people as Nancy Mace does. In fact, she represents more because Delaware has 1 million people in it. Her district only has 739,000 in it. She earned her position in Congress just as much as Representative Mace did. But it's clear that the animosity has nothing to do with Mace's safety or women's safety or anything like that. It has everything to do with how much she hates her for being her equal. Now, McBride is going to have difficulty fighting this for herself. She's going to need allies. And I hope Democrats are ready to stand up.
You, sir, are talking shit. It is about safety and privacy and restrooms and female-only spaces and female-only sports. The things which the men in dresses feel compelled to invade. And the odd thing is, I didn't hear, I think she's a congresswoman, I follow her now on X, I didn't hear her say anything about hatred. But he did. Constantly, and he's doing something which those on the far left do all the time. They project their hatred onto someone else and try and vilify them. And she's right in what she says. The left are celebrating mental illness. If you're a man and you want to identify as a woman, you go for it, Chief. But I don't think those people should be in positions of power. Because no trans woman is equal to a real woman. I know that's controversial, but it's true. Because women, they can produce life. They have a completely different life experience to men. I'll never know what it's like to be a woman. At best, a trans woman is just a crude replica. If you take a Dacia Sandero and put a 3-pointed star on it, it doesn't make it a fucking Mercedes.
This week is full of PSAs. If you identify as punk or goth and you voted for the little orange man, you are a poser. Congratulations, you're a walking oxymoron. Heavy on the fucking moron part.
So there's another leftist assuming that she's an authority figure, that you can't be punk or alternative if you're not on the far left. Sorry, love, I've been doing it a lot longer than you have. And again, the septum piercing and the mad stare. It reminds me of toddlers. Like she's saying, oh, if you don't say you're my best friend, then you can't play my game. They're acting like children. Except children fucking grow up. That woman is asking for other women in the 4B movement, and presumably herself, to go out for mass sterilisations. Now, I sort of support that, because if all the far left stop breeding, imagine how good society will be in around 20 years' time. But she's acting like she's living in Nazi Germany and doing the eugenics experiments on herself. There's one clip left to go, and it is another woman, but this one doesn't identify as one.
I got misgendered at work on Wednesday by someone that has been corrected before, and it just hit me hard. I was 3 hours into my long shift. I don't even remember how long it was, maybe 8 hours, my 8-hour shift. And I immediately was like, no, I need to leave. So I left. I went home. And since then, I have been spiraling, which is not a fun thing to be dealing with when you are a broke person living in New York City and need to pay rent. So I'm getting ready to go to work right now, go to my other job. I called out last night and I'm having to talk myself into showing up today. And to all of my trans friends, to all of my trans followers, to any trans person that stumbles upon this video, I love you so much. I love you so, so much. I know how much this hurts. I think for a second I got too comfortable and I forgot how much this hurts me. and I lost my usual coping skills. And so that's what I'm trying to work on now. I thankfully have people in my corner that are helping, but it's hard to get help when your instinct is to cut everyone off and refuse help. So to my trans friends, to all of the trans people watching this, I love you. I love you so much. To all of the cis people watching this, watch yourself. Check yourself.
Watch yourself. That could be construed as a threat. And the way that she loves all trans and non-binary people, but has this open hostility to everyone else. How do these people have so much hatred and function in society? Well, they don't, as we've just seen. So I'm guessing what happened was one of her colleagues referred to her as she or her or a woman. So she's been triggered because someone has acknowledged actual biological reality and she's had to strop off home. And not only that, it's her long shift. The 8-hour shift. You mean the standard working day. If I do 8 hours, that's an extremely short day for me. Also, how are you that fragile? I work on a production line. I go in this morning. The first thing someone says to me is, fuck off, dickhead. That's fine, because I'm going to do it back to them. It's just workplace banter. Also, stop pissing about with your hair. Because as a bald man, I find that extremely triggering. And now I'm going to have to stop this video and go off for a fucking cry. That is the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, please do like and subscribe if you haven't already. And as ever, thanks for watching. So I'll move over here. There you go. I managed to slip in the fucking bedroom. Seems exceptionally proud of herself. Going on camera and posting on the internet that she's having thoughts about killing people with her car. No, fuck that up. The thing with this video is that all but one of the people we'll meet are women. Or biological females, regardless of what they identify as. And maybe it's because in the West, we're still finding it. Fuck it. That was an attempt at comedy, but with the far left, it is hard to tell. Yet she's talking about hitting relatives with cans in socks. Actually, that's cultural appropriation. Over here in the United Kingdom, we've been putting snooker balls in socks for centuries. Sir, are talking shit. Also, why is it that you are dressed like a housewife from the 1950s? Why do the TQ cult either look like they're Doris Day or that they do their shopping at a very cheap sex shop? And I forgot what I meant to say next.